Hey, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakorash. Double honors unto my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akyam that's out here pushing this word in truth and in all sincerity. Shalom. Shalom to the sincere sisters that are tuning in as well. I want to do this quick lesson. Lord willingly is edifying. Dealing with excuse me again, I'm a little under the weather. Dealing with making adjustments. One thing that I've learned in my walk, since I was called into this walk, through the Spirit, and things that have been taught through the Spirit by my leadership, starting with the apostles and elders on down, is if I could put one thing that I find as important is making adjustments. We all got, I was speaking to one of the bishops of my camp yesterday, briefly, and we were speaking about the fact of how all the men that I've known, all of my leadership from, that have been around 10 plus years, none of those men are doing the same thing that they were doing when I first met them. And I'm not saying it like that as what I mean by that is they've made the adjustments that were needed to be a servant of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and that's number one. But splitting that off into one, being able to be of use and putting this ministry as a priority. That's number one. And number two, whatever the adjustments that this, the Lord, needs of us. Sometimes the Lord will have you think that your life is going one way. Remember, the Lord directs the path of the righteous. He directs our paths. And like I said, I'm driving right now. When I stop, I'll try to hit a few scriptures. This is more of a exhortation or a thought that I had, in the spirit of just making the adjustments. So, you got to make the adjustments to being able to serve, to serve the Lord. And then coming along with that, you hit a lot of being able to hit bumps and hurdles that are in your walk, your own personal walk, and making the adjustments. You may have had a job that was, this, that, and the third, but that job came to an end. And you got to be able to make, the adjustment. All right, I got to move. I got to do this. I got to do that. That's where wisdom comes into play. See, the scriptures speak about, Romans the 5th chapter, about experience and tribulations and, hope. I did a lesson recently about hope. That's not something that we're the children. We Israelites, we are a people naturally of hope, but that's something that, when you come into this ministry or come into the knowing of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you begin to exercise that hope through patience. Patience is another thing. Patience is something that, you can say you had it in the world, but really you don't. When you come into this truth, you learn patience. It be things that you be needing and wanting. Hey, I'll give you an example. I give you a great example, even in my own personal life, right? All right. I've experienced needing a car in all ways, if that makes sense, right? I've experienced needing a car and not having no money, no nothing going, right? I've experienced that, and I've experienced the other extreme. I've experienced having the money, but it's like it's not working out. So what I've learned in the process of experiencing the all, from the top to the bottom and in between, is that it's just patiently waiting. The Lord, sometimes we're moving according to His time, not ours. So you know, sometimes you may think it's the answer to, you know, the scriptures do say money answereth all things. So there is a defense that money do bring. So you have the money and you thinking it's going to line up one way, but the spirit got a different way to show you, like, it ain't just that. You can't even lean on that. See, that's the one thing that we're learning experience. All right. We're learning as we do this. We're learning how to do things, how not to do things. But what is the main thing that comes along with that? And that's the ability to make adjustments. Even in the camps, you know, the brother that brother went from, you know, he was the 3 to now he's the one, he's the head, you know. There's always adjustments being done. And I want to get that word adjustment real quick too. All right. Because I want to get a scripture when I stop here in a second. But the word I got is adjustment in the etymology. Right. And it's a making fit or conformable. Right? Making a fit or conformable. Okay? Now, okay, keep reading this. Making a fit or conformable, the act of adapting to a given purpose or orderly regulation or arrangement. Okay? So that's adjustment. Adjust to correct, remedy. See, so this is going into my point that when the Lord corrects us through the Spirit, you know, whether that's just the Lord does it through the Spirit or the Lord has his men correct us, right? That's because you got to make an adjustment. You know, like old people used to say, hey, adjust your attitude. What are they telling you to do? Change it. And preferably change it to something that is more conformable to the spirit of which they want your ass to be in. Check your attitude. Okay? Now I want to get a scripture real quick. Get a scripture. This is see, it says this is Ephesians 4 and sorry, my phone is tripping. I'm gonna start at 15. This is Ephesians 4:15. And it says, but speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Mashiach Yahushai, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working and the measure of every part, making increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. So we're all, Lord willingly, we all represent a stone in this tabernacle, right? And that's where we're not the mason, okay? We're not the potter. You know, the potter is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They're the mason, okay? They're the ones that's putting the stones where. We are the stone. We're the material, okay? So again, with that, when you understand that, you got to understand, imagine if you've ever worked, I've worked with stone. You know, I've dealt with bricks. I've dealt with the, retainer. I built a retaining wall. I've laid tile. I've done those things. And when you do those things, you understand they got to be fitly joined together. The towel can't tell you, God damn. I was comfortable right there, man. What the fuck? Stone can't tell you that. All right. Here it is. You building a brick wall and a brick like, God damn, nah, I want to be over here. I don't want to be over there. Nah, that's off. So we have to, in the physical, we got to make the proper adjustments in the spirit to be played out. It's all spiritual and physical. That's what I'm saying. It starts with you having your mind, towards the word of the Lord, but it's also that will play out in your actions. All right. How you actually, sorry, excuse me. How you actually do it. Okay. See, there's always adjustments. There's always adjustments that need to be done. And that keeps us on our toes as well. You might be used to working a certain way, doing certain things this way or that way. Your house might change a little bit, where it's like, I gotta give this a little bit more of my attention. So then you gotta make adjustments to, okay, now I used to do my lessons at this time, but now I gotta do it at that time. Or no, I can't come here then, but I can come here then. It's just always about making the adjustments and the attempts and keeping Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai first. Okay. But the key thing to this lesson, and I'm going to close up here in a second, because that was a scripture I wanted to hit, fitly joined. The Lord is fitly joining us in a way where you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. But also, and if I could add to that point of being uncomfortable, the goal is to get comfortable in the spirit of what you got to do. Okay. Because see, be comfortable with, you don't want to be uncomfortable in one way too long. It'll throw you off. Your work schedule is throwing you off. You want to be able to, okay, let me balance this out. It's always, matter of fact, I get that. I've been meditating on this a lot lately. Let's go to Proverbs. Excuse me. Proverbs 11. Proverbs 11:1, and it says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. And the Lord has a balance of weight for all of us. We all have a personal relationship with our Creator. All right. But in the midst of that, you got to find the balance of which the Lord needs you to be at. The balance of your personal time and so on and so forth with the ministry, the balance of your personal time with your family and yourself. All of these things matter in the development of us as men of the Lord. We're on a journey and we're growing and things are happening and we're trying to meet that mark of perfection, but it comes from adjustments. What worked for you, what worked for me, 5 years ago, that shit, just because it worked then don't mean it's going to work today. Okay. Yeah, it's a spirit, when you read, if you read there's the 48 laws of power, but there's also another one, the 33 laws of 33 strategies of war. And one of the things that I haven't read that book in a while, but one of the points that was stood out is basically about having wisdom, basically being fluid with your wisdom, in the senses of, not just being so programmed to thinking that just because this worked that time that it's going to work again. No, you have the wisdom, and it's like with basketball. Kyrie doesn't come down with the mind frame of I'm always going to hit somebody with an inside out crossover every fucking time. That's not how his mind is working, even though it works every time. And that's the same thing. Just because it worked for you then doesn't mean it's going to work for you now. We're moving forward. We're forward thinkers. You know, we're not people that are just stuck in the time of the past, or this is how it was and this is how it's going to be, or this worked for me then and God damn it, it's going to be like this now. No, this puzzle changes all the time, and we got to be able to change with it as well. Okay. And I'm talking to myself first. You know, this flesh wants to be comfortable. It wants to, be stationary. This flesh wants pleasure. The flesh wants things that may not be in your greatest favor. So you got to make the adjustments to get to a new level, a new point, a new place, and that's just what it is. So, hey, through the Spirit, I pray that this lesson was edifying. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long, but hey man, we're stones. We're building materials, and if the Lord sees it fit to put us wherever or take us out and put us somewhere else, we have to be able to deal with the adjustments. You may have thought that you were going to live on one side of town, and you've been so used to being, we get, Jake, how Jake get, man. You get in this spirit of, hey, man, I'm so used to, I live on the west side, man. I'm just a west side dude. I'll never leave the west side. Not knowing that what you looking for and need is on the east side or the south side or the north side, but just because you're just so content, that's just where it's at in your head, and that's not it, that's not it. So in the spirit, you gotta change, you gotta make adjustments, So with that, hey, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh.